Now, of course, spring is approaching, and it is time to start thinking about all of the beautiful flowers and plants that you're going to put in your yard. And we have Gravir Dinsa out with Pike's Nursery right now. Gravir, what can they tell us about getting our yards ready for spring?
Look, I don't know about you, but you know how warm it was in February and all the daffodils were popping and you're like, oh, I'm so ready. Well, Kara Ziegler is with Pike Nurseries and she is with us today because it is time to get out and dig in the dirt, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's been a beautiful early spring so far.
So let's talk shrubs specifically today. We want to get you back out to talk more about perennials and, planting some of our annuals. But what did you bring today? And is this a good time to plant those shrubs?
Yeah, now is a great time to plant. So today I started out, I have kind of a shade side over here.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing to know is, do you have sun or do you have shade? So I brought camellia today. That's right here. Gets a little bit taller. That's another important thing to know is how much room you have so that you can choose your shrubs and make sure they're going to fit your area. So gorgeous camellias. These are an early spring bloomer, so they are in full bloom right now. Our common azaleas, I brought this. This is the time. They are about to start popping.
I know. Rob was telling me just the other day that his azaleas are popping, and the Masters is right around the corner. So they're doing what they can to maybe slow the growth down just a little bit before the golf tournament.
Yeah, that's right. So, you should start seeing these. These do really well in a lot of shade, filtered shade. And then I also have anise up here, which is a chartreuse evergreen that just thrives in full shade and will get 3 to 4 feet tall. So that's a really neat one.
And it'll stay that color all year?
All year.
That's lovely.
That's one of I love that plant because you can pair it with things and get the pop of chartreuse with the color.
Okay.
And then I kind of have my more heat tolerant sun side over here. So Laura Pedalum is something that we're all familiar with. It's just started to pop open, evergreen with the nice purple leaves that it keeps year round. Comes in a lot of different sizes if you're unsure of what you need. Knockout roses, super heat tolerant in this area. Loves full sun. And then kaleidoscope abelia here, which is another chartreuse plant that you can plant to kind of complement other things, stays more low. So once again, it's so important to know your space.
Yeah, and what is this one here?
Yeah, this is an encore azalea. This can take sun to partial shade as opposed to the common azaleas. These start blooming now. You get multiple bloom cycles with these, which is why this is such a great plant.
So let me ask you about the azaleas real quick because they are so popular here. There's a specific way to care for them, is that right?
Yes. So you want to make sure that you amend the soil really well with acidic soil. They like acidic soil.
Right. Okay.
And the same thing when you're doing a fertilizer routine with them. You want to get fertilizer that is specifically for azaleas and camellias. Camellias fall into that category as well.
Okay. So if somebody is if you've got a specific flower bed, like, in front of your house or whatever, do you want to think about height and how to sort of things that pop up at different times of the year so you always have some interest going?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's like what I said earlier about the camellias. They're blooming now. It's about to stop their bloom cycle. So you want to plant something complementary with it that'll start blooming later in spring and even in summer. A lot of times, like for a shade garden, you want to mix some hydrangeas in with your camellias and your azaleas so that you have those hydrangea blooms in June so that it carries you all the way through the season.
And these, the thing about shrubs, it's so good for the environment too, isn't it?
It actually is. That's something we don't think about a lot. But, trees and shrubs really help with runoff. If we have a strong storm and we have lots of rain, which we have all the time, and you get that erosion, the roots will help absorb some of that water so that you don't have as much erosion. And, any trees and shrubs, they release oxygen. So you have health benefits and pollution.
Right.
From it too. And then Atlanta, we're a hot city with lots of buildings and lots of roads, and planting trees and shrubs, especially in the summer, really helps keep the heat down and shade some of that.
Real quick, before we let you go, you know that we're not done with these freezing temperatures just yet. Is there anything we need to be doing right now to take care of the plants that we currently have to make sure that they don't get that freezer burn? And
Yeah, so first of all, if it's going to freeze, I would water everything in well and make sure, because that protects the root system. You can mulch the base around the plant really well, and that will insulate and hold in some of the heat. And that if you've got things with blooms on it and it's going to get below freezing, which we do, you want to take a sheet and cover it, or some frost cloth and cover it, towards 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, so that you trap in that heat. And then you just want to make sure you remove it the next morning when the sun comes out so they don't burn.
Well, it's a gorgeous day today, albeit cold, right? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. These are lovely. So, dig in the dirt, have some fun. We're going to take a break and come right back.